Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to put a rope halter on a horse. And before we get started, make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel for more weekly horse videos. So today, Fat Bella is going to be helping me here to show you how to put a rope halter on a horse. And before you even go to put your halter on your horse, the thing I recommend to anyone is to first take time to organize your halter. It can be easy to confuse what part of your rope halter is what. I remember when I used a rope halter for the first time and I was so confused on what exactly was happening. So, Bella, as I was saying, the rope halters can be really easy to get disorganized and tangled, so before you go get your horse, you're just going to want to make sure it's untangled and it's ready to put on the horse as soon as you get out in the field. What I always recommend is find the noseband first. The way you find this is, it just kind of looks like where a nose would go, and it's connected to the rest of the lead rope in the halter. Okay, so once you find the noseband, you can pretty much figure out everything else with the rope halter. This long strap here is what's going to go over the horse's ears, and you're going to put this strap through this little hoop, and this hoop will always be on the left side unless your rope halter was made wrong. I've made a rope halter before, it was a mess, this ended up on the right side. So this will be on the left side. You tie this through, and so basically there's your rope halter. So when I go to catch my horse in the field, I'm going to approach them at their shoulder. I don't want to approach them walking directly behind them or directly in front of them, because I want to give them the opportunity to see me. If I were to walk directly behind them or in front of them, they actually have blind spots and they can't see you, so I may actually freak them out a little bit and they hear me coming. So I'm going to walk to the shoulder so that they can see me coming. I'm going to let them know that I'm there. I'm going to let them know my intentions of catching them, and then I'm just going to put the lead rope around their neck so I can capture them, make sure they're not going to walk away or run away from me. So I've caught my horse, I got my rope around her neck so she can't walk off. And now I'm ready to put the halter on. And real quick, let me just talk about where you're supposed to stand in relation to your horse. You never want to stand directly in front of them like this when you're putting the halter on. They can throw their head up and hit you in the face. That's happened to me. It's painful. They could rear and you could be in the way. They could even jump forward and run into you. So ideally you want to be standing next to them on the left side, because that's where you're going to have to tie the halter off. I would say stand away from this front leg, because if they're to paw or kick out, you're going to get kicked. So if you stand to the side more, so if they were to move that front leg, you're not going to get stepped on or kicked. She's mad because she hasn't gotten her breakfast this morning. She's actually doing this video. We'll get through it and then she'll eat. Bella was being difficult, so she's gonna get in timeout and get some groundwork done after this video. So in the meantime, we're gonna use Pepper here. We left off talking about how to put the rope halter on the horse. So once I've caught my horse, I have my lead rope around their neck, I'm going to put on the rope halter, and I'm going to start by putting on the nose band around their nose, as such. And I'm going to make sure all my straps, that they're going to stretch behind, not the other way, because if it's the other way, my rope halter is twisted and I'll need to fix it. And then I'm going to bring the strap over their ears. And then I'm going to take that strap and slip it through the loop like this. And before I tie it, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to look at the halter and make sure that it's all where it needs to be. So my noseband, I want to sit just a few inches above the horse's nostrils. If you had a bridle on your horse, this is where their noseband should sit. If it's too low like this, the pressure is being applied in the wrong direction and it could slip over their nose and you could have trouble with that. Or if it's too high, once again, the pressure is just not being applied in the right place, so you may get a different response. So I want to make sure it's in the right place. And then I'm also going to check this strap underneath that goes underneath the throat. I'm just, like a bridle, going to see if I can fit 4 fingers in between the strap and the horse's head, just to make sure it's not going to choke them. Once I've checked that, I'm ready to tie my halter. So once I've checked my halter, it's time to tie the knot. And this is probably the most difficult and intimidating thing about the rope halter, but once you know how to do it, it's pretty simple. So once I stick my strap through the loop like this, I'm going to take the end of it and I'm going to bring it around behind the halter, between the halter and the horse. Many people bring it up here and they tie it like this. This halter is so old, it's kind of falling apart. The thing about this knot is if you're in an emergency, it's going to be much more difficult to get off your horse. So I'll show you a knot to tie that will be easy to get off your horse. So instead, I'm gonna bring my strap beneath the loop like this, and I'll bring it through. I just need to adjust it a little bit. And that way, if your horse is having an accident or you're in an emergency and you need to get the rope halter off fast, all you have to do is push up on the loop up here to loosen this knot, and you can quickly untie it. Okay, and I'll do it one more time for you guys in slow motion so you can see what it looks like. So as you can see, with the knot tied like this, the rope is pointing towards the horse's neck rather towards their eye. If you tie it, I guess the opposite way, the rope will be sticking up here and the horse will be running around and it'll be hitting it in the face and hitting it in the eye, and it's really unpleasant. So you just want to make sure that the rope is going to face back. Since I still have such a long piece of rope, something I like to do is I just tuck it in here and I'll kind of just get it out of the way so it's not going to be smacking the horse in the face, and that way they're able to concentrate better and it's just not being a nuisance. So you may be wondering, what's the difference between a rope halter and a normal halter? So rope halters are used for training a lot of times because they apply direct pressure to the horse's face, while other halters, they don't do that. So you see these knots here and here, and sometimes they'll have them in the middle of the nose band and behind the ears. Those knots apply pressure to the horse's face, so it makes it perfect for training. If you're going to train your horse to respond to that pressure, you're going to want to use a rope halter. If you have a rope halter that has the halter connected to the lead rope, this is great for groundwork because it allows the horse to feel any pressure or anything you're asking them to do through the lead rope, and it communicates that pressure a lot more clearly to them rather than a normal halter that would have a buckle. So I love rope halters and I use them the majority of the time. However, there's some instances where you're not going to want to use them just because they don't allow the horse to break away. Rope halters are really strong, and so you're not going to want to use them if you're trailing your horse. If the horse were to freak out, it's not going to work out for them. You're going to want to use a breakaway halter, and those are the halters that have the leather strap right here that can snap. If you're tying your horse up for a long period of time, you're going to want to use a breakaway halter and not a rope halter. And all the flies just randomly appeared, and I don't have fly spray, so I gotta go to the store and get some. Sorry, Pepper. Alright, so let's talk about some common problems you may have when it comes to getting your halter on your horse. Maybe you have a horse that is a lot taller than you, and so it's hard to get them to put their head down so you can put the rope halter on. One way you can work through that is to teach your horse to soften. And basically what that is I'm just getting my horse to lower its head when I apply pressure to either the lead rope or behind their ears. Let's see, there we go. There we go. You haven't done that in a while. So how you teach your horse to soften? So how you teach your horse to soften is you just apply light pressure in a downward way to the lead rope. So I'm slightly pulling her head down, and I'm just going to apply that pressure until she lowers her head, and then I'll release and let go. So applying the pressure, she lowers her head, so I let go. So then once you can do that with the lead rope, I'm going to start applying pressure up here. And so I'll apply slight pressure up here and I'll pull down on the lead rope, and as soon as she lowers her head, I'll let go. And that way she's just learning that pressure up here needs to get the same reaction as pressure down here. So I'll apply that pressure up here. There we go. When you go to get your horse in the field and their head is way up, all you have to do now is put your hand behind their ears and push down, and they should lower their head for you. So maybe you have a horse that's head shy and it's difficult to get the halter on them. I've had one of these horses and I use the method I'm about to show you. I can't guarantee that it would work for every horse, but it worked for me and my horse in this situation. So what I did is I would put my halter, the part that's supposed to go up behind their ears, I would put it down here, because usually if a horse is head shy, it's going to be their ears. And I would just hold it like this, and I'd slide it up to her head, and she would freak out and stick her head up, but I still had that rope around her already. And then I would just stick her nose through, and then just tighten this right here. Get away, fly! So once you have gotten your halter on your head shy horse, you can start getting them used to and desensitizing them to contact on their head. So how exactly do you do this? I've done it a few times with a few different horses, and all I do, Pepper's not head shy, but I'll just demonstrate with her, is I would take my hand and just start petting their face. And when I reached a spot that they would shy away from and stick their head up, I would just apply that downward pressure to ask them to lower their head. And as soon as they lowered their head, I would take my hand off their face. So once they stick their head up and they're like, get away from me, I'm gonna keep my hand here because they need to know they can't escape this unless they do what I ask. So I'd keep my hand here, ask them to lower their head. As soon as they lower their head, I'll take my hand away. And then you can work your way up to their ears and their forelock and just work all around their face so that they get used to that touch and that they learn that that touch isn't bad, but it's good. Okay, so once you have your halter on your horse, it's time to lead them, and I'm just going to review how exactly to lead your horse so that you can be ready when it's time to go have some fun. Okay, so when I'm leading my horse, I'm going to stand to the side as I have been. I don't want my horse to be walking directly behind me, and I don't want them to be walking too close to me. That way they're just getting my personal space and I could get accidentally stepped on or kicked. So I want to be beside them. I want my horse to be level with my arm. I don't want them way out in front of me or way out behind me. And I like to keep two hands on the rope just in case my horse spooks or freaks out. I got good hold because I've had my lead rope pulled out of my hand so many times. I'm going to put my hand closest to the horse, closer to their head, and then I'll just hold the rest of my rope in this hand. I don't want it to be looped like this and have my arm or my hand in it because if the horse pulls, they can tighten and then they got my hand. If this is your first video that you've seen of ours, make sure you check out our YouTube channel because we have a ton of horse videos. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel for more weekly horse videos. Bella, you're supposed to be in timeout. Now you come to me. Alright, now it's time for breakfast since our video is done. So for those of you who don't know, I have Pepper and Bella at my house, and they were my horses growing up. And then I have Tucker at a boarding stable right now, just so we can train regularly and have a ring to ride in. So I use these girls for videos when it's too much to go out to the barn and get Tucker. So this is the amount of food that Bella gets because she's so fat, hence the name Fat Bella. Are y'all hungry? Alright, Pepper. First. Breakfast is served.